Alright guys, so today I will be explaining the stories behind Sonic.EXE and Sonic.UYX. So let's begin, starting off with Sonic.EXE. Now before I say anything else, I just need to say that Sonic.EXE is not a canon character in any other Sonic game. He is a completely fan-made character who has never appeared in any Sonic game, or any Sega game for that matter. But now, without further ado, it's time to talk about Sonic.EXE. And the story of Sonic.EXE goes a little something like this. Now this guy named Tom was chilling at his house until someone randomly knocked on his door and gave him a PC-ROM of the original Sonic the Hedgehog game. And because Tom is actually a huge fan of Sonic the Hedgehog, he puts the game in his PC without hesitation. And when Tom boots up the game, it shows the classic and iconic Sonic the Hedgehog title screen. But this is where things start to take a turn for the worst. For a split second at the end of the title screen, Sonic's eyes turn black and red with an elongated smile, and there's blood added everywhere. Tom thinks that this is just a glitch though, so he continues to play the game like normally. But instead of starting at Green Hill Zone like in the original Sonic, Tom instead gets a screen showing Tails, Knuckles, and Dr. Robotnik. And because Knuckles and Dr. Robotnik are locked, Tom has no other choice but to play as Tails. Now when Tom starts off the game as Tails, he hears Sonic.EXE's iconic laugh, which actually isn't even his laugh, it's from a completely different character called Kefka from Final Fantasy, but let's just ignore that. Now when Tom starts off as Tails, he immediately runs straight to the right. And he runs to the right so far that he runs into Sonic. And when he runs into Sonic, Sonic opens his eyes and then the screen turns black. And then Sonic says,
"Hello. Do you want to play with me?"
And then Tails is sent to Angel Island Zone Act 2 from Sonic 3, but instead it's called Hide and Seek. And then Tails starts running for a while, but then Sonic catches up to him, and then takes his life.
I will eat your heart.
And the same thing also happens to Knuckles and Robotnik, but his death is not shown. And Tom is just absolutely horrified by all of this. He is not having a good time anymore. And then Tom's screen cuts to black, and Sonic says to him, "I am God," which, dude, are you really? You don't look anything like him, or any religious god for that matter. And then for whatever reason, Tom's Sonic toy, which was sitting on his bed, looks at him and says,
Hey, pal, what's going on?
Now Tom, if your Sonic toy is talking to you like that, please get that thing checked out, because unless you gave it a voice box, it is not supposed to be talking to you like that. So yeah guys, that's basically the entire story of Sonic.EXE, and ever since his story was made, he's become very popular to the point that there have been remakes and retellings of not only his story, but also his game. And these remakes and retellings consist of Sally.EXE, Sunky.MPEG, Needle Mouse VHS, and Sonic.EYX, the next story that we're actually about to cover. So without further ado, let's talk about Sonic.EYX. Now, if you guys don't know what Sonic.EYX is, it's basically a more scary version and retelling of the original Sonic.EXE. And their designs are also different as well. Sonic.EYX is like this tall, lanky version of Sonic with one pupil and a giant symbol on his chest, while Sonic.EXE is just Sonic with red and black eyes. Oh yeah, and I say pupil because Sonic actually just has one giant eyeball with two pupils, if you did not know that. I don't know how that works, but okay. But now let's just talk about Sonic.EYX. Now when you immediately start up the game, Sonic starts off by looking at you. But here's the worst part about this, right? I had to put this scene at maximum brightness and maximum exposure just so that you guys could see Sonic. If you don't have this scene at maximum brightness and or exposure, the scene just ends up looking like this. That should just send out a warning for how scary this game is going to be. So then after that, the game then shows the original Sega screen and then the Sonic title screen. But then the game just kicks into maximum overdrive and does this. I don't know what to call this. So then after that, Sonic then appears and starts saying run. And then Huh. Okay. So then the game actually starts up and it looks like a regular Sonic game at first. But remember, this is Sonic.EYX we're talking about. It starts off normal and then it gets crazy. And then at the end of Green Hills, Tails meets up with Sonic and he's just kind of standing there. And then he transforms back into regular Sonic and then he just runs away. But then moments after Sonic runs away, everything in Green Hills just becomes kind of dark and cursed. And then when Tails meets up with Sonic again, the game just kind of crashes. Yeah. And then when you boot the game back up again, Knuckles appears and he's all like, "Hey yo bro, why are you making us suffer like this, man? We never did anything to you." But slowly while Knuckles is talking, he becomes more and more cursed. And he becomes so cursed that the game just ends up crashing once again. But then when the game boots up again, you can see Ray the Flying Squirrel running away from Sonic. And then when Sonic inevitably catches up to Ray, the game crashes once again. But then when the game starts up again, it actually looks and starts to play like a real Sonic game. So then the game puts Sonic in this place called Crystal Lake Zone. And everything seems normal at first, but then this happens. Sonic starts to take complete control over the game and starts moving the tab. And then when Sonic stops messing with the tab, the game goes back to somewhat normal. And Sonic continues to move around until he just kind of stops completely. And he continues to stand still until he crawls down to the bottom of the screen and jump scares you. And then the game finally returns back to normal once again. And you better enjoy this bit of normal while you still can, because this is the last bit of normal that you're gonna see from this game. So Sonic continues to run and he finally beats Crystal Lake Zone Act 1. And at Crystal Lake Zone Act 2, everything starts off normal at first, but then Sonic gets startled by Eggman and completely tackled by Metal Sonic. But then Sonic.EYX comes out of completely nowhere and decimates Eggman so hard that the game completely crashes. And then when the game boots up once again, Tails appears. And Tails tends to walk in this abyss for a very long time. And he continues to walk until And those are the stories of both Sonic.EYX and Sonic.EXE. Now, me personally, I think that Sonic.EYX is better out of the two. The character designs in the game are scarier, and the game does a way better job at trying to scare you. Unlike Sonic.EXE, which is just constant running to the right with reverse Sonic music in the background and blood added everywhere. But anyways, that's gonna do it for this video, and I hope you all enjoyed.